Good morning. It's Wednesday, August 20th, day 6 of my first trip of the year, which is way late for me. But I thought I would follow up with the morning after addendum to my video, because there's some things I didn't mention and some things I'd like to mention. I'm going to use my cheat sheet here so I don't let's get it going. First thing is, after my surgery, my nose has kind of more restricted airflow. Of course, the promise was fixing the deviated septum would improve my airflow. Probably the deviated septum came from my auto accident, airbag nose. I'd like to also mention, yes, I did mention the people that had the fire at the lake to the ranger, and she confirmed that, yes, indeed, there's a fire restriction going on. Fire is prohibited. I never have a campfire anyway, unless it's October. Some of those mornings in October can be really chilly. So try to plan trips that go into areas where you can have fire and there's plenty of wood and stuff. So, let's see. I remember last year when I was talking about backpacking, I had a Facebook friend says, "Oh, you shouldn't be so involved in backpacking or leading. It's not very much like women-like." Okay, so my observation on this trip is I've seen 4 solo hikers, 3 of whom were women. I saw several other groups of 3 where at least one of the members of the group were women. The big group at the lake, there was at least one woman there. I don't know, there might have been more. I didn't really go over and talk to them. One of the Yosemite scientists was a woman, and the ranger, wilderness ranger, was a woman. So this thing about women not being in the backcountry, I don't buy it. I think in a lot of ways I feel more comfortable. Not that I felt uncomfortable before, but I just really feel kind of in my element out here. Maybe because of not really being understood in the real world. Or maybe this is the real world. I don't know. So, before I ramp, this thing keeps shutting down on me. Okay. Another thing that happens when you're out camping is you have these really intense dreams. And of course, if you don't record what they are, you forget what they were, other than that they were really intense. So last night I had this really intense one where I was at Bear Valley Ski Resort, and they had kind of like totally remodeled it, where like the base lodge was on piling over a lake or something. I couldn't figure it out, and I went with Yoli and one of her friends, and of course Yoli was all pissed off at her friend. But I guess the main thrust of it was, it's like I was all there all day and I couldn't figure out how to get my stuff, my skis and everything on me and to the lift, so I was actually skiing. I couldn't figure it out. It took all day. I fell in the lake. I had to do all kinds of weird stuff. And that's kind of one of the common themes I have, is something I'm trying to achieve a goal, and the dream takes forever, and I never get there. So, of course, the second night usual dream is the one about school, and gee, I didn't attend class all quarter long, and now it's the final, and I have to study, and I'm late, and it's just so frustrating. Of course, I never make it to the test. I don't know. I wake up or whatever. But this one was really long and deep and detailed and intense. So it's actually, I think, a sign of sleeping. I've been sleeping really well. I mean, I've been sleeping from like 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. So, we're sipping my freshly brewed Pete's coffee in the morning. tastes better than any you'll find in a coffee shop. It's location, not not what's in the cup. But it is. Why does this thing have to keep touching it or something? So when you're hiking along, it's very it's, you know, the whole thing's very much, you're meditating a lot because you're thinking thoughts, and you know, there's exercise, so you're deep breathing. I think it's like yoga in a way. Maybe not as structured, but I think there's still some common elements to it. At least it gets me thinking a lot, and so I keep having these thoughts. And one of the things that I've learned, and I try to remember, but it's very hard to do, is that a lot of things are solved by just letting go. And of course the thoughts that you have are things that you're trying to work out, and things that you're frustrated with. Of course, one of the things I've been thinking a lot about is the upcoming surgery, but I don't think I'll get into that here. Another thing I heard, now I know many of my friends aren't the Tom Petty fan I am, but I found his interview on Sirius XM pretty fascinating. One of the things he was asked was, why do you keep doing what you're doing? I mean, the guy's probably phenomenally rich, 60 million albums and all this stuff. He answered the question, is like, well, he enjoys doing it and he's good at it, so why not? So I've been thinking about, well, what am I good at? And what am I good at? And what do I enjoy doing? And I think there's one other thing that he didn't mention that I kind of think is part of it, is the social interaction. I mean, he could sit there and be Scrooge McDuck sitting on his pile of money, but you know, money isn't where it's at. And David Crosby in his interview said, you know, you can have all the money in the world, but you only have so much time. Time is the big thing, and that's a theme in some of his songs. You only have so much time, so you know, things like getting wasted all the time, which I used to do, they waste time. So they may be enjoyable, but they're a time waster. In fact, he said that about pot, really, that, you know, yeah, you have a good time, you don't get anything done, and it's kind of a waste of time, which I thought was an interesting perspective as well. So I've been thinking about that stuff. What do I do well? Well, I did have some success at the San Jose Airport, managed a project. It was a lot of working, but it was something that actually you kind of felt enthused about going to work, interacting with all the brilliant people, the architects, the contractors, and everything like that. And the result is this big thing, you know, a new airport. I mean, I didn't have it, you know, and it's a huge team effort. It's not like one person, oh, I did this. No, I didn't do any. I just asked a bunch of questions. That's basically what I did, and tried to get to the root of the matter, and then get that to the people who make decisions. So in a way, I'm a decisioner too, to kind of vet through what really needs a big decision versus a little decision or an obvious decision. So I really enjoyed that, but it's very time consuming, and I'm not really wanting to commit to that much time. And he's wondering, who the heck are you talking to? She's right here in her little cocoon. In fact, I'm going to have to get off my left butt cheek for here for a second, so I'm going to pause and continue that thought about what am I good at and what do I enjoy doing.